Kick my shit again. Kick my shit again.
I don't got to shoot, I got shooters. I know I'm cooler than the cooler. I know this way you keep your alcohol. I know that about the bar. All of my niggas is savages. Beat up the opponents with scavengers. I know that in fly I got passengers. I love Jesus Christ and Bible passages. My girl so fly she have a Merlin. She love the match stick like Merlin. And the balls like a Laker Irvin. Should've kept it clean with this detergent. Watch the shit out and let the cat out my bag. I can drink it and let it take out the sag. Let it breathe, get some air. Baby please, I'm already there. Jacket and creamery everywhere. I represent me, it's a love affair. Smelling the trees, it's a buzzing here. Can't be down with the team if you weren't prepared. Hey, this is my style. I do it to get some attention. Hey, the crowd going wild, so I guess I'ma keep on spitting. Nigga, I borrowed your style, but you won't get no honorable mention. I'm rocking it better than you. I'm making retire no pension. I just get the bread and the food. Apply sandwich spread and make it smooth. My movement gon' move this to move. The only option not to lose. Hey, never been scared, you ain't prepared. I ain't sorry.
Yo, ADM is in the house.
I ain't sorry.
It's a party now.
I ain't sorry. You tripping cause you think I stole your career. I ain't sorry. Hey, you ain't feeling me, no apologies. I ain't sorry. Hey, sorry not sorry. Hey, I ain't sorry. I don't even feel that bad, my nigga. I ain't sorry.
Get the fuck up out your ass. Get the fuck up out your ass. Yo, bienvenidos. Welcome to Coffee and Bong Hits with Jessie. Man, I forgot my bong. Well, what you gonna do? Coffee and Pipe Hits with Jessie. I'm not gonna get up and chase it. Good morning, early crew. Erica, Corey, Finn, ADM is in the house. Man, I was about to put you on a milk carton, homie. I was like, where the fuck ADM been? Finn, anybody else I missed? If you're here, holla. Holy shit, you guys. Holy shit, you guys. I got some shit to tell you real quick. Yo, I want to dive right into this Derek Chauvin. The rest of this, though, I hate this dude so much. This lawyer. I don't even know his name. If I found out his name, I would plot evil shit against him. So I hate this dude.
Right. It doesn't exclude the possibility that it could increase the heart rate.
It could or not.
In terms of the evidence in this case, were you made aware that drugs were found in the backseat of the squad car?
Yes.
And that those drugs contained the DNA of Mr. Floyd?
Yes.
And that those drugs were at least to some degree partially dissolved?
Yes.
And that those drugs were fentanyl, a mixture of fentanyl and methamphetamine?
Yes.
Based on the toxicology in this case, did you see any metabolic byproduct of methamphetamine?
No.
Right. And so that means that the methamphetamine was taken more acutely or recently in time.
Probably. I mean, there's lots of variables.
So again, just kind of taking into consideration removing certain variables, right? You find a person at home, no struggle with the police, right? And the person doesn't have a heart problem, but you find fentanyl and methamphetamine in this person's system at the levels that they are at. Would you certify this as an overdose?
Again, in the absence of any of these other realities, yes, I could consider that to be an overdose.
And the level of fentanyl in a person, again, in this hypothetical scenario, there are deaths certified as drug overdoses significantly lower than 11 nanograms per milliliter.
Lower, higher, it's got a huge range. Yes.
As low, I believe, as 3% or 3 nanograms per milliliter.
Yes.
Right. So the ingestion of drugs is unique to that individual's body, right?
Right.
This shouldn't be much longer. And then I'm certain that after this woman is done on the witness stand, then they're going to stop for the day.
Dr. Thomas, a few things I'd like to try to clarify with you.
Thank you.
You were asked a number of questions that were to the effect that if we take the police subdual, restraint, and neck compression out of this, what would you conclude Mr. Floyd's cause of death to be? Remember those questions?
Oh, yes.
Aren't those questions a lot like asking Mrs. Lincoln,
Yeah.
if we take John Wilkes Booth out of this, may I finish? It's my analogy. Dr. Thomas, if we put the police subdual, compression, and neck compression into this, restraint and neck compression into this, what was the cause, the manner of death for Mr. George Floyd?
The cause of death was the law enforcement subdual, restraint, and compression, and the manner of death is homicide.
Does it make any sense to you whatsoever from the standpoint of trying to assess cause and manner of death for Mr. Floyd to be answering questions having to do with hypothetically taking the facts of this case out relating to his subdual, restraint, and neck compression?
You can finish the question.
Dr. Thomas, from your standpoint as a forensic pathologist and your analysis of manner and cause of death, would you ever approach an assessment of manner and cause of death by taking out of it the facts that you found relevant and highly pertinent to assessing and determining the manner and cause of death?
No.
And in this case, those factors are what?
The law enforcement subdual, restraint, and compression.
And you were asked questions again about fentanyl and meth. Remember those questions?
Yes.
Do you know what quantity of meth was even involved or found in Mr. Floyd's bloodstream?
I have the number.
Well, let me ask you a
But
question.
it was very small. I mean, I do know that.
And so this was the point. You found that it was a very small amount.
Correct.
Were you able to assess, based on the amount, what kind of effect, if at all, it would have on the stress or strain on his heart?
No. There's too much individual variability to correlate one number with one person's reaction.
Well, let's see with respect to fentanyl, if there's a punchline we can get to with respect to fentanyl. Fentanyl has been discussed with you, Dr. Thomas, as a respiratory, either depressant or suppressant.
Yes.
In order for us to go from fentanyl to death, in the middle, there are certain symptoms and responses and reactions a person would have who's suffering from fentanyl overdose or intoxication.
Yes.
If the person doesn't have those symptoms, those indicators, then would you feel that it's possible even to conclude that they are suffering from fentanyl intoxication or overdose?
No, if there's no signs of fentanyl overdose, then it makes no sense to conclude that there was an overdose from fentanyl.
And to be clear for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what are those symptoms of fentanyl overdose or intoxication?
So fentanyl is an opioid. It's like morphine or heroin, and it causes slowing. Well, first of all, it's a potent pain medication and given mostly for that, but it also can cause slowing of the respiratory rate in a very gradual, peaceful, non-struggle kind of way. What is described as people just fall asleep and may just kind of slump gradually over because they very peacefully stop breathing, or it slows and then eventually stops.
And they fall into a sleep out of which they can't even be aroused.
Correct.
Would that be also known as a coma?
Yes, ultimately it's a coma.
When George Floyd was on the ground for the 9 minutes and 29 seconds, was he asleep to the point of not being able to be aroused?
Not for the first half of it, no. And then afterwards, he was completely unresponsive, but that's a different.
For the second half, he was unresponsive with no pulse.
Exactly.
Was George Floyd during the 9 minutes and 29 seconds ever in a coma that you saw?
No.
So when we talk about fentanyl overdose, did you ever see, as applied to George Floyd during the 9 minutes and 29 seconds?
Okay.
Did you ever see, as relates to fentanyl overdose, during the 9 minutes and 29 seconds that he was on the ground and during the subdual and restraint by Mr. Chauvin, that he ever exhibited any of the symptoms of fentanyl intoxication?
No.
You asked, again, quite a few questions about the heart. And remember that discussion?
Yes.
I think it was to the effect the heart was slightly enlarged, high blood pressure, narrowing of the coronary arteries, dead heart muscle cells. Do you recall all of that being discussed?
Yes.
In order for us to go from there being issues with damage to the heart to a death from damage to the heart, in the middle, do we have to have certain cardiac events that then lead to death?
Yes.
Would you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we're going to talk about heart conditions, what are those conditions in the middle that actually lead to death?
Well, what ultimately leads to death is an arrhythmia, an abnormal beating of the heart. And as I described, it's generally it's often called a sudden cardiac arrest because it's sudden and someone just drops over.
Now, to be clear, when we're talking about these various heart conditions and a sudden cardiac arrest, fatal arrhythmia, did you see any indication with all this discussion about heart conditions that Mr. Floyd ever suffered from a sudden fatal cardiac arrhythmia as the primary cause of death?
No.
Was there any evidence that Mr. Floyd suffered from a heart attack?
No.
If you bring to mind what was found during the autopsy, was there any injury found to Mr. Floyd's heart whatsoever?
No.
So if we talk about, for example, dead heart muscle cells, any dead heart muscle cells seen on autopsy?
Not that Dr. Baker described and not that I saw, no.
In fact, his heart was so ordinary in terms of non-injury that it wasn't even photographed intact, was it?
Not intact, no. Dr. Baker took one photo that showed no scars and no acute injury.
Now, you were asked about certain studies out of Canada.
Yes.
On the prone position.
Yes.
And now, and the findings out of Canada, supposedly with real police and real police settings, was no fatalities.
Yes.
Are you familiar with any such studies reaching that conclusion in the United States of America?
No.
What is so peculiar then about Canada that we're talking about Canadian studies here?
That's what I don't understand. I mean, Yeah, I found that study and I just thought, I don't know how to interpret this because it's so contrary to the actual experience of forensic pathologists in the United States.
Now, you ask questions about whether the prone position is safe to lay on your stomach.
Yes,
Are you familiar with whether or not laying in the prone position automatically brings about a reduction in the oxygen reserves somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 24%?
I am not aware of that, but I would defer to a clinician.
Perhaps a pulmonologist?
That would be the best, yes.
I think you were, in fact, asked a question about laying by the pool on my stomach in Florida.
Yes,
George Floyd was not laying by the pool on his stomach in Florida, was he?
no.
You can tell how much these people hate that attorney. It's probably a tie because I
know the answer to
really
this,
hate
but
that
I'll ask
attorney.
you. Ask a question about sitting on a church bench with a baseball under your butt. You've never done that.
No.
Now, you were asked questions about symptoms of damage to the brain
Yes,
and whether there was any evidence of damage to Mr. Floyd's brain.
yes.
Would you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury whether the fact that you observed an anoxic seizure in Mr. Floyd, was that evidence of damage to the brain?
So yes, what happens in the brain is when there's inadequate oxygen, it reacts by causing this anoxic reaction or seizure that we've described. If someone then goes on and essentially is brain dead, but their heart can be restarted and they're kept alive for, say, a day, and then they die, then you will see changes in the brain. But in a case like Mr. Floyd, where he died during this period of time and his heart was never able to be restarted, that is not enough time for the brain cells to show any kind of reaction that you could see at autopsy.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. No further questions.
Any further?
Dr. Thomas, after the heart stops, if the heart stops, is it possible that the body will continue to breathe or respire?
I hate this dude's vocabulary. I'm just going to say that. I hate it. I hate him. I love this lady, though.
And that continued respiration after the heart stops could be a matter of a minute or two, correct?
I suppose that could happen.
And you would agree that methamphetamine also further constricts the arteries, right?
It can do that.
And so that constriction, there's been a lot of discussion about the level of methamphetamine in the system, this low level as it's been described, right? You said there's no safe level, agreed?
Yes.
Would you, as a physician, prescribe methamphetamine to a person who has a 90% or a 75% occlusion to his or her heart?
Objection, Your Honor, is beyond the scope and relevance.
You may answer it if you have an opinion in that regard.
Oh, I hate this dude.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no further questions.
Whoa, God, that guy is such a piece of shit.
Members of the jury will take our lunch recess. We'll reconvene at 1:30.
Told you guys. That as soon as they wrapped it up with that
We're
lady.
now on a lunch break in the trial of Derek Chauvin.
Wow.
This trial coverage live with the newsroom of the Washington Post. Well, this morning has given us new headlines to discuss about a central issue of this trial: what caused George Floyd's death. Joining me now, Rhonda Colvin, Eugene Scott, and James Homan. Rhonda, let's start with you. we are expecting to hear from Dr. Andrew Baker in just a little while. He's the next anticipated witness, the medical examiner who conducted the autopsy. But so far today, we've spent all of our time with Dr. Lindsay Thomas, this forensic pathologist who in part helped train Andrew Baker. Let's go through her testimony and what we've learned.
Yeah, she is basically laying the groundwork right now for the medical examiner who performed the autopsy on George Floyd on behalf of the county, Hennepin County. She went through at the earlier part of her testimony what medical examiners go through and how they determine certain causes of death. So she went into the science, went into the field. And then she also talked about her takeaways from what she saw. And she did believe, as we've heard from some of the other people in the medical community, that George Floyd died of asphyxiation or lack of oxygen. So she answered those types of questions.
All right. You don't need that, lady. I've been paying attention since 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock this morning, I think. Okay, so that douchebag attorney for Derek Chauvin, I hate that dude so much. He is the kind of buster who always says some old faulty ass last word shit. Earlier today and the other day, remember last week or maybe it was earlier this week, I was like, interrectally? Did he say interrectally or interrectally? And then I thought about that for a minute, and I was like, man, I really got no business even worrying about that, right? And I thought that would be the only time in my life where I would ever hear that term. But I heard it again today, and it just made me hate that dude worse. And then his vocabulary kills me, and the way he stumbles. He tries to pretend he's smart with these big-ass words, but he can't even pronounce them, right? He's like one of those people that only just heard a word said, didn't read the word. Right? You didn't read the word. You never actually seen the word written. You just envision in your head what it sounded like when somebody else said it. He even said yesterday he was trying to pronounce respiratory, but the witness that was testifying kept pronouncing it something like respiratory versus respiratory. So the guy fumbled with it, and then he goes, oh, I'm thrown off by your accent. And I was like, dude, you are so tacky. And then today he just asked that lady who is a forensic pathologist, I believe. He just asked that lady if she would ever prescribe methamphetamines to a person with a heart condition. Like, bro, you are so tacky. I just appreciate the fact that like every witness that has come up has just shit on that dude, right? But those are all the defense witnesses, right? Those are the witnesses. So there's still going to be some nasty people coming up next week, man. There'll be the prosecution witnesses, and those people are expected to be horrible. So look, if you are just tuning in, you missed it. We did like 20 minutes carrying the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Hashtag fuck Derek Chauvin. Hashtag Derek Chauvin is a murderer. We smoked some pot. I forgot my bong. My coffee's cold. But look at this, man. Boom, I got one of these. But here's the problem with that is I've already had 4 cups of coffee this morning. That shit might make me explode if I drink that Bang energy drink. Okay, so look, I promised some hot news at 10:30, like some life-changing news. Like seriously, life-changing news for anybody who wants to be part of it. And I know that sounds crazy, but have I ever disappointed you guys? Have I ever not demonstrated that I'm a visionary that's able to plant seeds that will grow into fruit that we will eat in the future? Have I not proven that I exist in the past, the present, and the future simultaneously, fulfilling promises that I made as a child? Making freaking houses out of bricks for my brothers and sisters that live in straw huts and stick houses because they want to keep partying. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Because I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to be a billionaire. And I'm sorry that I lost the election for mayor. But man, I was only 43 years old and I was drunk. So taking that off my record, consider the fact that I'm sober right now. And I have like 1,030 days of sobriety. So it's not a flash in the pan. It's my life. At 10:31, we got to drop Red Panda at 10:31. Mind-blowing news. Okay, let's drop some sponsors on them real quick since I just jumped right into the trial. First of all, I really hope you're watching this show on urbansurvivorman.com because we have the best silhouette logo in the Silhouette Logo Industrial Complex. That is the Aloha Wall Walker shot at Keho Bay. That's real. That is a fanny pack. There's a phone, probably a water bottle, some Crocs, some trunks, and a magic hat. Recognize urbansurvivorman.com. You never know where we'll be, man. You will never know where we'll be, and you'll never know if my real head showed up in next to the foot of my silhouette head. Also, don't forget, every day at 10:35, we play dope independent hip hop video of the day, and then we smoke out to it. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, ADM, man, spaced that. Good looking out. Yo, woof woof. Shout out to DMX. You know what I just learned today? I learned that DMX did that dog barking. He learned that when he was a kid because he used to get beat so bad at home that he would just wander the streets and make friends with stray dogs. Rabid dogs. I don't know where rabid came in. Man, it's look, I'm just slandering those dogs. I don't even know. But I feel like my life changed when I learned that lesson. So man, I hate to switch speeds from that moment. Rest in power to DMX, man. I gotta keep it pushing right now, though, man. So don't forget, Kush on that. Damn it! I said I wasn't gonna say don't forget anymore. I forgot. Kush only. Kansas City's finest, pushing out rolling trays, ashtrays, accessories, and waterproof blunt pocket holders. So that's the good. Essential Elements Apothecary, located in Selwood, is the place I always recommend people go to get all their shit, all their wizard stuff, all their witchy supplies. Remember, you can get a pedal and mortar to grind the bones of your enemies, and you can get some incense to hide the smell of the blood, and then burn some Palo Santo to chase away their ghost. All that and more available at Essential Elements. Okay, don't forget, yo, fly. Yo, see, that's kind of a whoops. My bad. Pull that. Okay, don't forget this. Yo, if you really need waterproof footwear like Amy Crash does right now, get yourself fake cracks. Fake cracks. Hey, I like, if you're worried that you're going to fall in love with them and end up wearing them with long pants or to a job interview, or God forbid you wear them to court, don't set yourself up for failure then. Get some fake cracks because they'll break long before you even need to wear them to court. So it is yo, what up, Miyagi? Hey, Lo Presto, I see you, man. Yo, Jess, I did it. We did it. I can't tell you guys until after Red Panda, okay? Okay, hold on. Let me hit you with the Red Panda. This is Coffee and Bonghits, and I really do have some crazy news. It's not for everybody, so just soak it up in a minute. Yo, real quick. Here at 33 Bird Plaza, an outdoor bird food court, we have lots of wonderful selections. Stop by our peanut bar to get some takeout. Yeah, you don't need a mullet on your head if you have a mullet in your heart. Let me say that again so that I can make sure this. Also brought to you by Shane McLemore Toys and Custom Action Figures, where you will get kicked off Facebook if anybody catches you playing with them. They're not. Man, you know what I really want to do is I really want to play a DMX video, but let me see if I can try to outsmart. Let me see if I could try to outsmart the algorithms, right? Let me see something. Okay, I'm gonna try something in a minute. So, okay, it's 10:31. I told you if you showed up at 10:31, I was gonna tell you some news. For those who don't know, in 2018, I began a process of developing a really, really cool idea for how to use blockchain technology and for how to use cryptocurrency to insulate our energy from the United States fiat dollar, right? Like, I don't like that kind of money. It's war money. It's oppression money. It's stolen land money, right? So if the opportunity existed for me to create my own currency outside of the current oppressive infrastructure, that was super important to me, right? And that it could facilitate the goals and the plans of so many of my friends, right? Because all right, check this out. So a lot of my friends are beautiful, wonderful people. But you know the story of the three little pigs, right? Like, two of those fucking pigs can't get their shit together. Two of those pigs can't two of those pigs wanted so bad to go eat apples and party at the fair that one of them just built a house out of straw, yo. And one of them built a house out of sticks. And if you know anything about me, am I not my brother's keeper? So it was like, all right, Jessie. What's your biggest, loftiest, most ambitious fucking plan? Put it together. Hold nothing back. Hold nothing back. Create the biggest, dopest, most ambitious vision for your world and make that happen. So it involved the website, the show, the other shows, the travel, the wild monkeys, the animal sanctuaries, the rappers, my painters, my massage therapists and my psychics and my energy touchers and my light workers and all my people that I value, right? My card flippers and my dowsers and my charity workers and my free hot supers and my blanket donators and my after school programs. So I set together a plan in 2018 to craft all of this. But for it to really work, we needed our own coin. We needed to create the Kudokin. And I tried in 2018, but I wasn't smart enough. The timing wasn't right. I wasn't in a spot in my life where I could dedicate so many hours. Like, the pandemic is like such a crazy, twisted opportunity for me to really just insulate myself and man, getting accused of that fucked up shit a couple years ago, that put me in a spot that I wasn't in before, right? I didn't have those kind of freaking powers, right? Like, trying to steal my good name and trying to really steal my soul and my honor made me grow in ways that I never could have done. In ways that I never could have done when I was just Jesse Sponberg, the man child, when I was just a dude running on good luck that was inevitably going to run out. So here's the deal. I hooked up with Dirty. I hooked up with Dirty, man. Dirty Black in the house. We hooked up, and he was the missing link, G. And we teamed up. Because that dude is smart as shit. Dude, y'all don't even know, man. I don't even know. You only know the side of him that he wants people to know, because what you don't know can't hurt you. But that dude is super smart, and that dude is a visionary, and that dude has a wealth of life experience to pour into a project this ambitious, right? And then it was lurking, and then it was sitting there, and then the homie came to me and said, Jesse, do you want to sail the oceans with me in all of 2022? There's a nuclear reactor in the Marshall Islands that is leaking, and the United States government is to blame for it, but the United States government won't clean it up because they tricked the Marshallese people into signing off responsibility, and so the responsibility now legally falls upon the Marshall Islands people. But so I was like, well, gee, we're going to have to manifest like a way better boat than the one that you're talking about, right? Because I'm not trying to sail the 7 seas on a small little dinghy, right? We need the 55 footer or whatever. And then I started thinking about how much it cost Paula and Josh to run the animal sanctuary every day, and how much hard work they have to put in. Okay, let me just tell you guys what happened. I woke up this morning and Dirty called me and said they're done. They're done. The Kudokins are done. They're done. They're done. They're done. They're launched on. They'll be launched on the Ethereum platform, and they'll be compatible and tradable with any coin in the world. And so, if I give you some coins because I value your work, because I value how you spend your life, because I value your effort. If I give you 10,000 coins, all you got to do is share your energy with my vision. Not in a world where our messages are scattered, Not in a world where if I want to send you energy right now, I have to go through hundreds of thousands of other people's thoughts and all that white noise and all that static and ambient energy that's just not part of my goal, right? I had to spend half of my time just isolating my message from yours and then the other half sending my message out, right? Can we just cut out all the dummies? Can we just create an infrastructure only for energetic people? I learned a concept the other day, some extra perspective that was given to me, and it said there's 3 levels, right? Which I already really understood the 2, right? There's inside the aquarium where there's infinite aquariums, right? You can just go to any aquarium that you want. Then there's outside the aquarium, but inside the fish store, which is where the productive people live, right? Inside the fish store. And then you can pick what aquarium you need for what reality you need, like they were different Iron Man suits, right? You dig? So then there's the 3rd level, which is the collective dream. That's what I learned about, right? So we all live in our individual dream worlds, but we also live in a collective dream world. And if you wonder, why can't I fly? Why can't I shoot lasers out of my eyes or fireballs out of my hands? Why can't I do that, right? Because we have to share this space collectively. So then I realized the value of the term getting somebody else to buy into your dream, right? Like, that might not be exactly how that term goes. So we can isolate our experience. We can isolate our productivity. And if we turn every one of those coins, into simply $1, just $1, and I gave you 10,000 of them as a gift, then that means as soon as that hits $1, that gift I just gave you was $10,000. All right. And if you went and bought some of them when they only costed 0.00001, you could buy 10,000 of them for $1 on your own. When they drop, they will have such low value. All I need you to do is buy into my dream at an infinite amount, right? But there's a billion of them. So go buy a shitload and then just believe in me. Believe in yourself because I believe in you. We believe in each other. Now we are separate. Now we are the creators. We are the ones who craft our own reality and craft our own destiny. And so we manifest separate from the rest of it. Absolutely separate from and insulated. And that is 50% of the hard work. Remember, insulating your message. Now check this out. If I go give Paula and Josh at the sanctuary 50,000 kudokins when they're not worth anything, right? When they're 0.000000001, whatever, that's gonna cost me nothing to give to them, right? But the hope and the optimism of that getting to $1 means that sanctuary would have $50,000, right? And I guarantee you this: when we hit $1, we'll hit $10. And when we hit $10, we'll hit $100. Okay. Now I'm going to add the last important part to this. This is the important part, which is NFTs. This is non-fungible tokens. Now, I'm not a smart dude. I'm just a wise dude, right? So I'm not going to be able to give you a super technical explanation, but I'll give you a practical one. Imagine that you created your own bill, your own dollar bill, $5 bill, $10 bill. You decide whatever that bill is worth, right? You just have a bill and you draw your face on it and you write a number on it. That bill could be a painting, a joke, a song, a video, a basketball shot, a tweet. Anything that has value in the future will be converted to ownership. It's the future, the blockchain. Don't run from the future, embrace it, right? Don't be resistant to change. Don't be the man that wouldn't leave his house on Mount St. Helens and got turned into dust, right? Don't be that dude. So if I come and say to you, hey, my dear friend that makes music, that makes art, that does something, can I commission a project from you, but only pay you in kudokens? And then you give me a one-of-a-kind baseball card, Superman #1, first episode of the A-Team, a Garbage Pail Kid with only your name on it, or you make a series, right? You can make 100 of them and say, this is 1 of 100. This is 2 of 100, right? Because then that is still a unique thing, right? And when you create something in the blockchain, it's permanently authenticized. It has numbers. It has fixed information that goes to your ownership, right? But then you can use that like a bill, right? And it's worth whatever you can get for it, right? It's the future. I just saw a Saturday Night Live skit sold for $360,000. There's a whole list of other crazy shit that is selling, but because it has value to a collector. Imagine if you had Martin Scolari, Martin, whoever that scumball is that had the one-of-a-kind Wu-Tang album. Think of that, right? These one-of-a-kinds. So now what I can do is I can facilitate putting money into the hands of my people and commission pieces of art using our coin. Holy shit. This is so much to even like try to say out loud in a concise manner. And then the value of your art will be going up every time it is exchanged, right? If somebody owns it and it's worth $5 and then somebody wants to buy it, well, it's probably $6. And somebody else wants to buy it and it's $7, right? Here's the catch. As the artist, you put in a royalty percentage into your project. So you say, I made this painting and it has a 20% royalty built into it. That means that every time that NFT is transferred on the market between a buyer and a seller, that transaction is recorded in the blockchain, and then 20% of that goes to the wallet of the original artist every time it changes hands. Every time. So if you factor in a 20% originally when it sells for $10, that's $2 kickback to the artist. Someday when it sells, when the artist gets famous and that rare NFT one-of-a-kind song from 2021 hits the market and it's worth $1 million or whatever, that is worth $100,000 to the artist, right? And it could be anything, man. I mean, it can't be stupid because you want somebody to pay for it if nobody's going to buy it, right? So the market is perfect. It's not like you go to Dollar Tree and there's just a bunch of crap. It'll be like going to an art gallery and it'll be completely contained inside of the blockchain inside of our website, inside of an art gallery, right? Like virtual 360 style. You'll be able to walk into a room and look at different paintings and arts and one of a kind rarities and oddities, right? And I will dedicate actual staff. Like, I won't be able to do it, bro. I'm gonna be on a sailboat and shit. I'm gonna be a fucking billionaire in a minute. I ain't got time for this shit, right? But I will have, it'll be like H&R Block, where instead of going to get your taxes done, there'll be like a department that will help you commission your NFTs. And if you need help, we'll have an art department. We'll have a marketing department. We'll have tutorials. You know, Dirty Black, he runs Unblocked. We try to warn you guys, man, exploring the mysteries of the blockchain. I told you, I brought him in. He brought me on. We're already on this, right? Okay, so now let me tell you the dopest part of it. We've commissioned for a world-class video game to be built and finished within the next, hopefully, 60 days. Where you'll be able to go and play this video game on your app, on your phone, and win kudokens for achieving goals. The game will be like where you wander around and shoot aliens, and one of those real fun, addicting style games, but it'll actually be profitable to you because you'll be able to win coins, knowing that all the other cool people that you know are meditating on the success of that coin, that they're burning sage and setting intent on the success of that coin, because collectively we can all be rich, like really, 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 really rich. Not kind of rich, really fucking rich. And I know I lost the election. I'm sorry. But have I ever let you guys down before? Have I ever let you guys down before? Just think, if we just used the power that we showed at any food wars, anytime we filled up a U-Haul truck overflowing with canned food, or anytime we raised thousands of blankets in one day, if we just took that collective energy, all we have to do is get that coin to go a little bit to the left. And how do you do it? Who knows? Who knows? There is no answer for how to do it, right? It just happens. You can put out ads and you can say, buy our shit, or you could pay Kanye West to make a commercial, or you get fake Redman to do a commercial, but there is no set way to do it, right? This is the future, the infinite quantum world of micro and macro, right? Like on a micro world, we're creating this computer world, but look behind you. How do you know you're not living in another computer world, right? So then step out of the aquarium backwards and remember that you're in the fish store, right? But now remember that you're not the only employee in the fish store, and you all have competing goals, right? So now imagine that the only people that was allowed to work in your fish store also had the same favorite aquarium as you. Think how clean that aquarium would be. So this is real as fuck. What you guys need to do is go get MetaMask wallets. MetaMask. Let me make a little banner real quick. MetaMask wallet. Bro, look, get this. MetaMask wallet. This is the major shit, man. A MetaMask wallet will allow you to do any crypto trading you want. And then when you want to pull out, you just hook it up to your bank account, right? But it will be your world. And they'll give you a seed phrase. it'll be like a 16-word phrase with random words, right? Instead, that's the future of passwords is a seed phrase. Yeah, I don't know what I could say right now that wouldn't make me just sound like I was just repeating, right? Man. Hey, and I think there's a lot of value in the lesson that I learned this morning about DMX. How we went from a kid that wandered the streets with stray dogs because he didn't want to get abused. It came from nothing. And then let's go.
Oh, 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 I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. That door's go. That door's go. And here we go. First we had a light. Now they like, what baby? Oh, that door's go. That door's go. And here we go. First we had a light. Now they like, what baby? It's all about violence. Hey yo, niggas wanna lie. Niggas wanna try. Niggas wanna buy. Niggas wanna die. All I know is pain. All I feel is pain. How can I maintain? Man, it's on my brain. I resort to violence. My niggas moving silent. You don't know what I style. Woodstock is the wildest. My niggas is with it. When they get it. Get them to spit it. What the fuck you gon' do when we run up on you? Fucking with the wrong rules. You know what we gon' do. I'ma have to show it. How easy to be blown. It's the moment. It's running with you. We can't handle. Break it up with this metal. Light it up like the candle. Cause I can't stand you. Put my shit on tape. Like you bustin' grapes. You holding weight, then you. My dogs go. Your dogs go drive. And here we go. Shut it down. First we had a ride. Got it out. What baby? Oh, my dogs go down. Your dogs go. And here we go. First we had a mic. Got it out. What baby? That's how I'm any shot niggas crazy. What you with me snake? Stop acting like a baby. Nosy people get it too. When you see me spit it too, you know I'm trying to get rid of you. Yeah, no, it's pitiful. That's how niggas get down. Watch my niggas spit raps. You suckers get crammed. Just for talking shit, fam. When you think it's funny, you don't know me, buddy. It's about to get up. Fucking dogs are hungry. Guess you know what that means. From a boss that green. Time niggas over me. Don't make it a murder scene. Leave my dog alone. Leave my dog alone. Let that dog roam and he'll find his way home. Home of the brave. The home is a cave. And yo, I'm a slave till I'm home is a grave. I'm a bull kid, but it's all about the paper. We just bought the papers and now they want to break. My dogs go down. Your dogs go. And here we go. First we had a light. Now they like. What baby? So my dogs go down. Your dogs go down. And then we gon' shut them down over and on shot. First we had a light. Now they like. What baby? Actions when I hit your niggas hard. Hit your niggas hard. Back in niggas talk. Remember me from up north? I had to skate the car. My name is Ring Bell. Pay attention to yourself. I make your thought rebel. Ain't hard to tell. Never really wanted it, so the mic get up in front of it. 16 shots on it. The niggas about to get. Don't you know who else was spit? It's time to play by the enemy. That niggas gonna be like no X-scripted. Then my thing is usual. It's never gonna stop. You just can't be real. I got this shit locked. Let a game over go. Get a name that gets smoked. Simple that. Simple it. Don't get them all up in the coat. Now you're losing your life. A dog is a dog. 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 Yeah.
was gonna win. Oh, Jay! I was gonna win.